In a moment, I'll be sharing with you a very nice puzzle, one which I've spent my head on for a long time. In fact, it took me weeks to solve it, but I felt really good about myself that I finally did it. But then I decided to look up solutions online. And guess what? I was devastated. The solution I found online was so short that I felt like a complete idiot that I couldn't think of a more easier way. My solution definitely had to be the most inefficient one. But now when I look back, I realize that the shortest solution is not exclusively the most beautiful one. The path that we take might be somewhat long, but as long as we appreciate the journey, it surely is beautiful in itself. After all, it is mathematics, and all math is clever and beautiful. So yes, here's the puzzle. Imagine you have 4 dogs, and they just happen to sit on the vertices of a square whose side lengths are 1 units. The dogs, however, as you can guess, aren't normal. They are mathematically bred in such a way that their speed is always 1 unit per second, and that the first dog always moves towards the second dog, the second one always moves towards the third towards the fourth, and the fourth, again, always moves towards the first one. So given all these dog information, if they all began moving at once, they should meet each other at some point in time. So the question is, what would their paths look like? And also, what is the distance covered by one of the dogs to get there? Now, before proceeding, I want you to press pause and give this a try yourself. Trust me, the problem is quite rewarding itself. So back to the puzzle. How do we even figure out the path of such weird motion? Will they run in circles, spirals, or something else? For one thing, they won't run in circles, no. If their directions were always oriented perpendicularly from the center, then they would have always run around in circles. But this isn't the case here. So they should slowly spiral in towards the center, right? But how are we sure of it? Well, let's design a thought experiment. Imagine that the dogs, well, their brains are slow, so they can only change their directions after every t seconds. So at first, the dogs will start moving in their initial direction, and only after t seconds, their slow brains will suddenly discover that they are not running in the right directions, so they'll fix their directions instantly and start moving towards the new directions again. And they keep on running in this manner, fixing their directions after every t seconds. So running in this way gives us a sort of spiral-like path for our dogs. But this is not the original path because our original dogs should not have any lag time at all. They should not fix their directions after a lag time of t. They should fix it after a lag time of 0. That is, they should move towards the right directions instantly. But in this example where we chose a lag time of t equals 0.2 seconds, let's see what happens to the path here when we keep on decreasing the value of t so that it almost reaches 0. I hope now this starts to make some sense. Yes, the path that you see here is the path our dogs take while moving in their weird way. But hey, this just became a whole lot difficult. How do we even measure the length of this curved shape? Is this even possible? Well, let's move back to our thought experiment and explore it a little bit further. Here, the dogs had a slow brain with t seconds of lag time, which meant they could sense any changes only after t seconds. Now, notice that a t seconds lag is the same as calling it a t distance lag, because the dogs, having a speed of 1 unit per second, covers the same units of distance in equally the same units of time. This means instead of saying the dog sense any changes after t seconds, we can equally say that the dogs sense any changes just after crossing t units of distance. Here, we can see that after each step, the dogs form an intermediate square, which, by the way, is always smaller than the previous one. Let's name the sides of these squares. The initial one, let's call it S1, and then the next ones as S2, S3, and so on. Okay, enough notations. Let's talk business. How do we measure this curved distance? Well, that's where we start to use some magic. No, not literally. We are not chanting some spells to find out the answer. But what we're about to do at first might seem a bit weird. But the way things work out at the end, it almost feels like magic. Let's start building a graph. But hey, we don't know any functions here. I mean, it might have helped if we knew the equation of the spirals at least. We don't even know that. What graph are we gonna make? Well, let's do a crazy thing. We'll start building a new one, which won't require knowing about the equation of the spirals at all. Again, we start with the lag case. Here, after each step our dogs take, we put one t distance in the x-axis, which is the distance covered in that step, and then let's put the side length of the intermediate square formed after that step on the y-axis. And we keep on doing this for all the steps. The graph that we see here is amazingly useful. For instance, if you know the side length of an intermediate square at, let's say, this step, matching the side length here, you'll know that it took the dogs 1, 2, 3 steps to reach this point. So the distance crossed by them to reach this step is this length in the x-axis. And this is true for any step. If we just know the side length at any step, we can find out the distance traveled by the dogs to get to that step just by looking at the x-coordinate. Now, this is actually a key discovery. Take a moment to realize how this is true. But how does this help to find the distance traveled to get to the center? Well, we already know the side length of the intermediate square in the center. Since it's the center, the side length has to be 0. But wait, this means our answer is the x-coordinate for which the graph is equal to 0. But how do we find where this graph is equal to 0? We don't even know the function yet. Okay, but before that, the graph you see here is for the t distance lag case, where the dogs had a slow brain. What would the graph look like for the original case when t approaches 0? This made me question the first time. Could it really be that simple? Is this graph in the original case actually a straight line? Well, it certainly looks like one, but how to prove that it is one? This is the last clever thing we'll need to solve this, once and for all. In fact, we don't even need to do much to prove that it is indeed a straight line. If we can somehow show that the slope is always the same, that will easily prove our claim, because straight lines, well, are straight, so they don't change their slopes at all. And finding the slope is relatively simple. For the lag case, the slope for any two consecutive steps would appear to be the vertical change divided by the horizontal change. Here, the horizontal change would be t, of course, because we chose the length of each step in x-axis to be t itself. In case of the vertical change, it will be the difference of these lengths. Let's call this s sub n, so the other one will be s sub n plus 1. So the vertical distance becomes s sub n plus 1 minus s sub n, and the slope should look like this. Now, observing our figure, we can actually find a relation between the two consecutive squares. So here, if this square's side length is s sub n, the next one should be s sub n plus 1. And we can spot a right angle triangle here. And in fact, we can easily figure out the length of the sides of this triangle with what we already know. Now, using the Pythagorean theorem, we can find the following relation. And since we didn't choose any two particular squares, this formula is actually applicable for any two consecutive squares in this figure. Now, remember our slope? we'll use the value of s sub n plus 1 here, and the slope now looks this way. But this is the slope for the lag case. For the original case, the slope will be the limit of this value when t approaches 0. I am not showing the calculations here, but it turns out this limit is exactly equal to -1, which is a constant. So the slope, whichever squares you consider, is always a constant. So there we have it. This has got to be a straight line. And since now we know the value of the slope, and we also know that this line passes through the point 0, 1, which represents the very first square the dog started with, using these two information, we can figure out the equation of the straight line quite easily. So it turns out, when this graph is 0, the x-coordinate is 1, which means the length of the curved lines through which our dogs traveled must also be 1. This to me is amazingly beautiful, that the square we started with had the same length that these curved paths have. They somehow happen to be equal. This almost feels paradoxical. So there we have it. Now we know our answer. But this video was never about the answer. It was about the steps we took that led us here. And you might disagree, but here's a profound statement to conclude this video. It is better to solve one problem 5 different ways than to solve 5 problems one way. Thanks for watching, and keep mathing.